us on today. We really appreciate talking about the mission of South Park Inn, and especially now where we stand with the state budget and the loss of money, and the demand is not going away.
Right, and we're joined also by Cheryl Pooler from the Bertera Auto Group. And Cheryl, good morning. Welcome to Brad and Dan.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Get right up there on that microphone.
Cheryl, talk about Bertera Auto Group's involvement in all of this.
Okay, so 2 years ago, we decided that, well, actually 3 years ago now, we decided we wanted to pair up with the rescue mission. And so we started a coat drive called Fill a Fiat. We were so successful for the first 2 years that we decided we have 7 other dealerships. Why not spread that, spread it through for everybody? And so what we did is we looked into a veterans organization in Worcester for our Auburn-based dealerships, and then we looked for a organization to pair up in Hartford for our Bertera Subaru of Hartford. And we had an opportunity to be referred from the Springfield Rescue Mission to talk to Brian. And when I got to have an opportunity to speak to Brian and hear his passion for the South Park Inn in the 33 years that he's been there, and that Hartford is his facility is the only facility that houses men, women, and children, it was no question after that we wanted to pair up with him.
Great idea. Yeah. And this has happened, and the veterans that you've taken care of. I always remember when former Governor Bill O'Neill said, yes, we're going to do it. He was the governor.
Absolutely, Brad. And I don't think we'd be able to do that this day and age, to have a shelter on Main Street in Hartford. and to be able to serve as many as we do. We served over 100 veterans last year. And we have 10 veteran beds set aside just for male and female veterans in the shelter. And they still are constantly full. They're coming and going faster now with our efforts to end veteran homelessness. But, veterans like everybody else still come in crisis.
And, again, it's the way it's run, though. South Park, it was a church.
That's right. It was an old Methodist church built in 1872. They're there for 110 years, and we continue to have 60 different congregations in synagogues. So churches and synagogues come in regularly, do meals. Almost every single night there's a group in there doing a meal.
Now, what about the coats and all this stuff? How are you going to handle that?
Well, Brad, most folks come in into the shelter, thinking that they would never been homeless 3-6 months before. That because of whatever life circumstances is, they're coming into shelter, and a lot of times they have just the clothes on their back. And, winter coats, are huge. This time of year, the weather's been warm, but it's going to change real fast. And, be able to have that for folks that are coming in, finding themselves homeless, these are the basic needs. That people need. So you think of old coats, yeah, I got several, but you know what? Giving to somebody that has nothing, that's huge.
So, Cheryl, is there going to be a drop-off point for the coats?
Yes. So for the coats, the drop-off point would be Bertera Subaru of Hartford at 111 Weston Street. Mm-hmm. And that's all hours of our operation.
Okay.
You just come in.
So can they drop coats?
They can drop coats. They can drop sweaters, sweatshirts. We're not limiting it to just coats, because you know what? A lot of the less fortunate that are on the street, they like to layer up. Right. So we have no problem accepting all those articles.
And this collection starts when?
It has been ongoing since the beginning of September.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to continue to the end of October. Mm-hmm. But nothing says that we won't take coats after that.
Right. Brian.
Yeah, well, thank you, Cheryl and Bertera for all that you're doing for us. On any given night, we serve up to 153 people, men, women, and kids. So any coats of any kind are great. Less than half of our folks are actually from Hartford, and since we started in 1984, when the shelter actually opened up, we've served over 60,000 people.
Wow. 60,000.
Yeah, and right now we have a family, mom and dad, and 3 kids that are up from the hurricane from Florida. They lost everything, living in the car. We have another couple folks in the shelter from that. And, knowing the population in Hartford being, half Puerto Rican or about that, and first generation or just from the island, we expect a real influx of folks coming up from Puerto Rico too. That are going to find themselves homeless, at some point. So we're getting ready for that. So, and they're going to need some winter coats.
Right. And if you don't mind me interjecting, is with the fact that you look at it, there's probably between 35 to 4,500 people that are out there that are homeless. And, we drive through the city of Hartford. We don't realize the impact of those numbers because we might see one or two here. So we don't have that ability. But knowing and speaking with Brian, we understand that that is a huge number and that we would like to end that one person at a time. Try to get them off the streets.
Now, where, for example, folks listening now, they take coats, you'll take coats, sweaters, anything like that.
Absolutely. Hats, gloves, socks, all that sort of stuff, even boots. We'll take all that. We have a building next to us, 53 Main Street, that Hartford Hospital owns, but we're able to use it as storage. So we have a whole clothing room in there, too. So as folks come in, whatever they need, if we have it, we give it right away. And that's also for furniture, too. So folks that are moving out of the shelter, as so many do within a few months, they're spending 89% of their income on housing and, donated furniture. That goes a long ways, too. So, all the above really, really does help.
So, Cheryl, take us through the process logistically. People show up at Bertera Subaru. Where is it again in Hartford?
It's 111 Weston Street.
111 Weston Street. Now, do they go through the front door? Where do they go to drop this off?
If they have a large abundance of coats that they need to donate, they need to just pull up, come to the front door, ask for, let them know that they have a numerous amount of coats or even one. If they have a numerous amount of coats, all they have to ask, we'll send some salesmen out, help them out, or they just bring them in, and we have a Subaru an Outback that we are filling up, and as we get it full, we call Brian, and he graciously comes over, or we send our runner over to.
That's fabulous. That really is.
Absolutely. Brad, it really is about, the community helping out. I mean, we have a tremendous loss of government funding. Now that we've lost money from HUD for our transitional program, we lost $200,000 from the state for our Plumpton House program, which is houses 35 chronically homeless men and women. So we're relying more and more on the community to support places like South Park Inn, these small nonprofits that continue to do an awful lot of work with the homeless and sheltering folks.
And when we started, I'll never forget it. When we started, it was all that. We went out and collected for food, everything.
That's right.
And it worked.
That's right.
People were motivated. They came in. I remember night after night they were there.
That's right. Even now, since 1995, we've ended welfare as we know it. So single folks that are not disabled, there's no assistance for them. And then families, too, are 24 months and out in state assistance. Yeah. So a lot of times our families come with zero income. So all this, the meals, the clothing, the help, the groups that are coming in, it's all essential to get people back on their feet, to improve their quality of life.
And then they're gone.
A lot of them come back as volunteers. We've got third shift supervisor. She was there for over a year with her two daughters.
This is, I think I met her.
Yes, you did.
I met her.
That's
yes.
Right, Lorraine.
She had two girls. You're
right. And one was diagnosed with autism when she was in the shelter.
Yep.
But people are resilient. You give them love, you give them the support. They get through things. We all do. They get through famine, they get through war, they can get through homelessness.
Brian Baker and Cheryl Pooler in our Touchpoints Rehab interview chair as we talk about this big coat drive. But Cheryl, as you said, it's more than coats. It's hats, it's sweaters, it's everything, right?
Yes. We'll take whatever you're willing to bring in. We're willing to take it. Toiletry items, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. I mean, anything that you're willing to bring to us, we will accept it because we know it's going to go to great use at South Park Inn.
You also mentioned something to us off the air, Cheryl, about the Bertera group and what it's done with the Milner School in Hartford. Talk about that.
Okay. We at Bertera have been very fortunate to have Hartford support us within our local dealership, and we wanted to give back. And so we partnered up with the Milner School, and we found out that the Milner School was running the perfect attendance for the children from the start of school till it was September 27th. And with that, they were able to go to the Big E. But they did not have enough money to purchase ride passes. So Bertera was able to purchase 180 ride passes for the students.
Wow.
And we were able to go there in the morning and see the students, and they were elated because they had gone to the Big E the last couple of years, but they were not able to have the funds to be able to go on the rides.
Now, what a great story.
Boy, that is.
Yeah.
See, we can do a lot for ourselves.
We sure
people.
can.
Brian Baker is the assistant director of the South Park Inn in Hartford, and Cheryl Pooler is with the Bertera Auto Group. Brian, right now, the thing that really disturbs me to no end, and I talk about it quite a bit with friends and when I go out to speak, are the veterans. And when you see the veterans, and the South Park has taken care of veterans for so many years, what is the count generally? What do you think?
We've served over 5,000 veterans since we started.
Can you imagine 5,000 veterans have to go to a shelter?
We do a weekly drop-in center, which is unfunded. We have the American Legion there. The VA is there every week, and they see 20 to 30 vets. They're not just homeless vets, but vets in need. Vets want to know what they're eligible for employment, for housing, and for services. So, and there's a bus that goes from the South Green, which we're across from, and they go every day to Newington VA campus, and then also to the West Haven VA campus.
That's fabulous.
So, and we have 10 beds set aside just for veterans, seven in our transitional program, and there are some additional beds for male and female veterans. And sometimes their numbers are twice that too. Those are just 7 VA beds, but we also have our National Guard vets that don't get those benefits. So we are there to serve all of them. We have a very close relationship with the vet center, and so forth. So, you don't do this work alone. Right. And we had a flagpole raising about 10 years ago at the shelter, and Joe Simmerwood spoke at it, right? Speaker. And at that time, I met Randy Etzel, and I said, Randy, we have these homeless vets who would love to go to the UConn game. He said, well, call me 6 months when the season starts. I said, he's not going to remember me. And he did. And we had tickets for every game, 10 tickets for every game for veterans for the entire UConn season. Now, he left, and then when he came back, we got the tickets again.
So you're glad he's back.
You can never have enough friends, Brad.
Coming up, the South Park Inn, boy. Talk about a legend. What they have done over the years, incredible. Brian Baker's the assistant director, and also with us is Cheryl Pooler from the Bertera Auto Group, and they are deeply involved with the homeless. Now, the food. Where do you get the food?
Well, a lot of our food is donated, Brad, and we have a meal group almost every night. Like I said earlier, church, synagogue, civic group. United Healthcare comes in twice a month, and they do the meal. Last night was Valley Community Baptist Church out of Avon, and they do a steak meal, which is one of our best meals a month. But we get Whole Foods 3 times a week.
Whole Foods
from Bishop's Corner, from Blueback Square, and from Glastonbury. So we have volunteers that go out 3 times a week and get that slightly overripe produce and bring it in, and all the other things too. They're really nice, expensive, organic foods, and we're able to make sure that the folks that we're serving, get a good meal.
How many are you serving generally at night?
153.
Wow.
Can you imagine, Dan?
I can't.
153.
Yeah. Cheryl, I know we all feel fortunate when we get up in the morning. Talk about that.
Well, lately as the weather has been changing, it so hasn't our dress code. And in the morning, this morning, I realized that it was a little cold in the house, and I had the ability to go over and flick a switch, and it generated heat. And then when I was leaving to come here, I was cold, and I had the ability to open my closet and not only grab one coat, but look that I had several. And so what I'm proposing to the people out there is that we are very blessed. We are very fortunate that we are able to do this. The less fortunate can't. So when you open that closet door and you see multiple coats, please grab 1, grab 2, and come donate to Bertera Subaru of Hartford, 111 Weston Street.
And you drop off the coats there.
Drop off the coats.
And you deliver them to South Park.
That's correct.
And again, it's coats, it's sweaters, it's hats. Talk about that, Brian.
Absolutely. When people say, what do you need, and I would tell them, whatever you need at CVS, we need that too, because we serve the entire population, men, women, and kids. And the clothing's great, the toiletry items, hygiene items, personal care items. People come in with nothing, and we're able to get it in for free and give it out for free. So and we're always looking for monetary donations at www.southparkin.org. So please reach out to us at any point, and we'll be more than grateful and happy to take your donations.
Boy, that church has served a great purpose in every way.
Absolutely, Brad, and and we take good care of it. We consider ourselves stewards of the property. We've done the steeple over, and the doors over, and the windows over, and someday hopefully we'll end homelessness, and we'll have this historic property across from the South Green, which was on the maps of Hartford when they drew Hartford in 1633. Wow. So we're part of the history of Hartford. We're proud of where we're at. And when people come to donate items that live in Hartford, they thought a lot of them thought we were a church their entire lives. And we've served so many people.
Well, you are in a way.
Yeah. Yes, we
Absolutely.
are. Doing God's work.
How many beds do you have?
We have 85 in the shelter, 40 for women and kids, and for single women, 45 for men. The transitional program's got 33 cubicles, and some of those beds are set aside for veterans. And then Plimpton House has got 35 individuals, men and women, chronically homeless folks that really need that congregate setting and do well. And a lot of them have been there for 20 years or more.
Wow. And Dan, I remember when we did a great big fundraiser at the old Hilton Hotel with Willie Pep. Wow. And all these top fighters, they came in for free. And we raised thousands of dollars, and there's the Willie Pep Room at the South Park Inn.
I'm getting goosebumps. That's wild.
Willie Pep Room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, Cheryl, one more time, recap what people can do by dropping off these items to Bertera Subaru.
Yep, so please collect any items that Brian Baker just mentioned, and come to see us at Bertera Subaru of Hartford, 111 Weston Street. If you have multiple items and you can't carry them in, please come through our front door. Talk to our receptionist. We'll be more than happy to send our salesman out and to help you unload your vehicle.
Brian, wrap it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Cheryl, for all you do for us. This day and age, we really do want to emphasize that we need to continue with our city funding and call out our legislators. That we need not only South Park Inn needs to help, but the other nonprofits do too in our community.
The South Park Inn. Stop in and see it, my friends. If you're ever by that area,